Hello, sir.
How are you?
Hi. Hi, I'm good.
Hi, Elijah. Hi, sir. Ed.
Yeah. Hi. Oh, Pastor Tupu. Hi. Pastor Ed. Pastor Abraham. I'm happy to see you all.
Yes, same here. Thank you, sir.
Wow. It's so difficult for me to take. What should I do? Okay.
Hey, Joel.
Oh, Pastor Joel. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm happy to see all of you.
Yeah.
Good.
That's true. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
It's a good place to meet.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Hello,
straight to my
Abraham.
home, that's why. Hello, Pastor.
Hello. Hey.
Hi.
Hello. Mark. I can't hear you. How are you? Check your Joel. I think you're mute. Can you check your?
Yeah.
Pastor Joel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Pastor.
Mark, can you hear me? But I can't hear you.
He has to unmute his microphone.
Yeah. Mark, can you unmute?
Okay?
Yes, yes. Hey, good to see you again.
Yeah, me too. Wow. See you again. Yeah. So how's your new baby?
Oh, she's doing well.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations, bro. Proud
Yeah,
father.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, Pastor. Hello, Abraham.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Hey, how are you? Yeah.
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock here in New Zealand.
Oh, that's
Oh, really?
6
Yes.
o'clock.
It's like
Evening
4
time.
hours.
Uh,
What about you,
but
Mark?
almost 11:30.
PM.
11:30.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
Mhm.
Elijah,
Yes?
you stole at the APTS, right?
I stole?
Are you still at APTS?
Oh, yeah, of course. That's why I can join to that too. Huh? Yeah, of course.
No, I thought that you left already for Japan.
You mean? Oh, yeah, of course. Now I'm staying in Japan. Yeah. Here is my home.
You're in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. It's okay. I see.
Hey, Sarah Joy.
Oh, Mom, son. Long time no
And-
see. I'm so happy to see you.
Hello. Hello, po.
Hello, Pastor.
Hi.
Finally, I joined.
Yeah, I'm happy
Hello,
for
Mom
you.
Diana.
Yeah, thank you.
Long time no see. Hello.
Hey,
The piece mess up.
Bishop.
What's up?
Hey, yeah. How are you,
Oh,
my
Pastor
man?
Joshua. I no see.
Hey,
Hey.
how are you?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Pastor.
Good. I'm good, man.
I'm happy to see you. Hi, Eileen. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oi.
Hey.
Oh, really long time no see.
Here
All of you
comes
guys.
scholars, hey.
Oh, a professor is gone. Good afternoon, Ma'am Laura.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, I'm trying to close some tabs.
Good afternoon.
Hey, congratulations,
Hello.
Reverend Laura Angelin.
Hey,
It was a fun consecration ceremony with face shield, gloves. By the way, I want to check everyone's attendance and also your time zone, because I know you come, some of us here, we come from different countries, and I want to make sure that you guys are okay. All right, so first, let me just check. Is Sir Edward Benish here? Sir Ed? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Philippine time. Sarah?
Come.
All right.
Yeah.
Miss Diana,
Hello.
what time is it there now?
1:30 a.m.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh my.
12 hours.
Oh,
Oh no. Okay. How about Arlene?
Present.
What time is it? You're in Samoa or New Zealand?
American Samoa. It's 6:30 p.m. Sunday.
Oh, okay. The previous day. Okay. Pastor Tupu,
yes. It's 5 p.m. here.
yeah, you're
Excellent.
4 hours or early. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Joe Marie? Is he here? Oh, not yet.
Maybe not here.
Yeah, not yet. Okay, Eria or Elijah?
Here 2:30, just 1
Yeah,
hour.
1 hour.
Goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bishop Joshua.
It's 5 a.m. here in the morning.
5 a.m.
Good morning,
so
sir.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Bishop.
Pastor Joel Olivar,
Yes, ma'am.
you're here.
Yes, yes.
And
Thank you.
then we have Pastor Emrinal,
Yeah.
Pastor Ratna.
11:30 here.
11:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, my dear President Abe Vizca. And Yibo Meng is in Japan, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Meng. So 1 hour also.
Yes, it's now 2:30.
All right. So it's really Miss Diana and Bishop Joshua who has to wake up early. Oh. Actually, I'm thinking we'll just do 4 hours of lecture and then I'll leave you to do your learning tasks, you know. We'll try to do that. So meaning I might not be able to discuss everything. I'll just discuss what's crucial, what you need to do or what you need to learn so that you can achieve the ultimate goal of this class is so you can write your chapter 1. And that chapter 1 is still a draft because if you submit it to your supervisor or our DMIN director, then there's a chance it might change. But my responsibility is to teach you the format and the style and even just how to come up with a chapter 1. Okay, so we will try to lessen the lectures to at least 4 hours only, so that those students who are really having a hard time with the time difference have time to sleep and do their learning tasks. Okay, is that okay with you?
Amen.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay, let's start with a prayer. There's an announcement from our technical support. There'll be another Zoom meeting link for the class tomorrow. Okay, just check your email for further notice. Thank you, Ate Juliet. So Ate Juliet is our technical support. Okay, let's bow our heads and let's pray. Father, thank you for this time. You have gathered us here, Lord God, for a purpose. You are training us, Lord God, and building us up because there's a purpose for this, Lord. This is a widening of our function, widening of our roles, oh God. And I just pray, Lord God, that as we study and as we train, you would give us the grace, Lord, and the strength that we may be able to accomplish the tasks in this course well. And I pray for each student that they may be healthy, they may be strong and wise, and most importantly, Lord, they find the joy and the excitement in doing this course, Lord God. We offer to you all that we do for your glory, for your honor. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. I think most of you here already know each other. You had other modules together, am I right? But there are also a few who just joined you for this module. So we will begin with an introduction. First, of course, I have to introduce myself, and you will have to introduce yourself as well, and then we'll go on with the introduction to the course. Just a tip, all our lecture handouts have been uploaded in our Moodle. So have you accessed the Moodle site?
Yes.
Okay, who here is having a hard time getting through the Moodle site or logging in?
Actually, for me, I cannot access the Moodle. I don't know why.
Ma'am, me too also. I cannot access model.
Okay, so we have Pastor Joel and Pastor Emrinal.
Mrinal.
Mrinal. Okay,
I
Mrinal. Who
have
else?
problem also with the model.
Pastor Abraham. Okay. Anyone else? So I can email our IT. Okay, so what they will do is they will send you your login details. Probably they have to reset. And then once you get it, you'll be able to download all the lecture handouts. I also uploaded a tutorial video on how to use the dissertation template. So on Friday, I heard, I'm not sure, but I heard that other DMIN students will be joining us because they will join the seminar on how to use the DMIN dissertation template.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I've a question, please.
Yes.
Do you expect us, because I haven't access to the Moodle yet as well. So, but I will try, because I have to email the IT to reset the password for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but so you know the email for the IT, like Cedric's email. Okay,
Yeah.
or I'll just list your name here and I'll ask Cedric to fix all four of your all four of you. So Joel, Rinal, Abraham, and Tupu. Okay. Anyone else who needs help with their Moodle? It's okay. Just it's just that the Moodle has the lecture handouts. Okay, if you want to review. And by the way, this is recorded. The videos will be uploaded in our YouTube channel. So we have a YouTube channel. So if you need to watch it again, then you can do so. Let me just show you our Moodle. Here it is. So we have the preliminary. So it's on in tiles. So the preliminaries, syllabus, the annotated bibliography that I asked you to do that you had to submit today. You also were supposed to submit your reading log yesterday because yeah, that was for the reading week. Now this one is updated list of library sources because we're all far from the campus. We have ensured that we have digital sources available for you. So we have EBSCO, we have Global Digital Theological Library, and we have ProQuest and other journal sources. So if you download this form, you have all the links and the password. So we have APTS secured passwords. Please do not share it to non-APTS students. We beg you. Okay, so just click this link. Now, then this is for the lesson today, an introduction to the DMIN project. We have other DMIN students who were kind enough to share the PDF copies of their DMIN or their dissertation so we can see samples, which we will discuss later on. So everything is here, including this one, the tutorial video. I've uploaded the video for how to insert page numbers and how to use the DMIN dissertation template. Okay, all right. So now let's begin with introduction. I'm going to introduce myself and then I'll ask you to introduce yourselves too. Okay, by the way, this is like the first time I'm teaching to DMIN.
Oh. Where's her?
Hello.
Hello.
I think we had an internet glitch there.
Oh my.
Okay. Am I okay now? Is my screen clear? Can you see me or hear me?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Okay, going back. As I said, this is the first time I'm teaching the DMIN students. I usually teach the MA or the MDiv students. So bear with me. I promise though to walk along with you, alongside you, as you work with all the requirements expected of you. So I am Laura Timenia. I'm recently, just today, ordained minister of the PGCAG. I'm a regular resident faculty, so I teach research, also Pentecostal studies every second trimester. I'm also serving as the registrar of APTS. Recently, I have been inducted, or no, well, invited as a member of APTA, Asia Pacific Theological Association, part of the accreditation committee. I am a contributor and committee member of APTS Press and an associate pastor for International Praise Center. This is my husband, Carlo, and our daughter, Cara Olivia. My thesis, actually, I'm in the MTH program, and the MTH program is different from the DMIN program. So the DMIN is more practical, the MTH more academic research. But I'm showing this to you so you can see a skeletal framework of essential components of your dissertation. So the title of my study was Understanding Toronto Blessing Revivalism, Signs and Wonders Theology in Filipino Context, with critical implications from a classical Pentecostal perspective. So the main research question of my study is, what is a TB, or Toronto Blessing Revivalist Theology of Signs and Wonders from a Filipino perspective? And then the sub-questions, what contributed to the development of TB revivalism in the Philippines? What are the implications of this theology in the Filipino PC context? My research design was qualitative descriptive. Actually, I had no choice. The thing about my research is that there was a vacuum in the academic field, meaning there were no published works, no books about it. Our research in the Pentecostal charismatic movement, we found out, ended with Wansukma's contribution back about the independent charismatics like JIL and Bread of Life. You know, it ended around 1990s. So from 2000 onwards, there have been no studies, no writings, nothing. And so I wanted to do a more theological study, but I had no choice. I had to do a field research first. I had to establish data first. And so I stuck with qualitative descriptive, just basically describing what is there now. And so the methods I use are review of related literature and interviewing of primary sources. And then the data analysis method was content analysis using quotes. And the validation method was member checking and triangulation, which we will discuss in this week. So I'm showing this to you because even if I'm in the MTH program and you're in the DMIN program, you're 0.5 higher than me, you do need these components. If you have these, I tell you, you will not be lost in your research. You need to have a main research question. The sub-questions are optional, but definitely the sub-questions must help answer your main research question. The most important component of any research is the research question. What is that mental itch, you know? What is that something that God put in your heart that you really want to answer? I tell you, this question, God placed it in my heart in 2013. And it took me, 7 years to answer. And so usually it starts with that, a question, and it is the most important in research, followed by the methodology. How will you answer your question? What are the investigative steps that you will take to answer your question? And so you have to have a research design. You have to have methods of data collection, data analysis plan, and of course, validation. So these are very important components that I hope by the end of this class, I just hope, of course, we cannot foresee the future and we have to be flexible, but I hope by the end of this week, you have an idea of what your main research question is, what's your research design, you know, your methods, data analysis plan, and your validation method. Okay, so you have to have these. It's very important. All right, so now it's your turn to introduce yourself. Tell me your name, your country of origin, church or denominational affiliation, your ministry involvement, family life, and what's your mental itch? What is that thing that God placed in your heart for you to research on? Okay, so I'm gonna do it alphabetically. I'm gonna ask Sir Edward Benish, my boss. Sir Ed?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ed Benish. My country of origin is the U.S., but I'm also married to a Filipina, so I'm a citizen of the Philippines, but I have a spousal.
Son, close the door. Did you close the ano there?
My church
You close the door.
is in the U.S. is the Victory Assembly of God. And I also belong to Amazing Grace. I'm also ordained. My ministry involvement, my wife and I, we have a few nonprofit ministries in the U.S. Good News Mission International and Sherry Benish Ministries. We've been doing ministries since it started in 2014. We've done concerts, praise and worships. Actually, we brought Paul Wilbur here in the Philippines, 5 cities. It's one of the reasons why I'm here. He came to Baguio. I haven't been to Baguio. I had to go back to the States when they came here. My family life, I have 2 older sons. One's working on their grad program in Pennsylvania, working with the Army Corps of Engineer on the side, and my youngest is stationed at Fort Drum, New York. My research project interest is, the central question is, what are the important and helpful components of an operations manual for APTS? I have some sub-questions. What are the stages and what are the lacking components of the current existing staff manual? It kind of landed in my lap during the audit. I was praying to the Lord. I said, Lord, I need a project. We got the research course starting in 2 months. And I didn't have a topic. And in prayer, then I went to a meeting, and I'm sitting here at the table with the auditors, and they said, the institution needs an operations manual. And the Spirit spoke to me and said, this is it. And then I come to realize, we've been in existence 56 years, and we don't have anything to publish. So I want to do something realistically that the institution can benefit and also learn in the process, because it's been a while since I did my thesis and my master's program. This is all starting to come back to me. Thank you.
Wow, very good. He has his research question and sub question. Awesome. Actually, I really like your project, Sir Ed, because it will really help APTS. That's amazing. Okay, now we're gonna ask Sarah Joy Caballero.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sarah Joy Caballero from Philippines. But right now I'm still here in APTS. I wasn't able to go home because of this pandemic. I'm an ordained minister of PGCAG. And I am an associate pastor in our church. And also I'm a teacher in the local Bible School of Assemblies of God in Negros. I'm really praying for my research project, and mostly like, for example, the example DMIN paper that was sent by our teacher. It talked about the importance of mobilizing the laity. But here in the Philippines, I was able to think out of that group of the lay members, the least mobilized, but one of the great potentials are the young adults. So I have this heart to help the young adults. So what the pastors must undertake, or steps that the pastor must undertake to help the young adults involved in the ministry. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. So Sarah was stranded.
Yes.
Stranded in APTS, but at least she had time to really prepare for the class, for the DMIN project, and so on.
Amen.
Okay, thank you. How about Diana Michelle Clements?
Hello, I'm Diana Clements, and from the U.S. I'm an ordained minister with the Assemblies of God. We are missionaries with the Assemblies of God World Missions. Been in Cambodia since 1997, and God is now leading us to APTS, and we're ready to come as soon as the Philippines will allow us to come. So I'm married to Darren, who is going to start teaching at APTS, hopefully next trimester. Our daughter Micah is 19, and she's getting ready to start studying to be a physical therapy assistant this year. And Nathan will be in 6th grade, my son. My area of research comes from our ministry at the Bible School in Cambodia. I saw that a lot of professors at the undergrad and above level may be experts in their fields, but perhaps don't have a lot of training in pedagogy or how to teach. And so my research question is going to focus on what kinds of educational training do our Asia Pacific Assembly of God ministers have, those who are teaching in the Bible schools, and then what kinds of trainings would be beneficial to help them improve in this area.
Wow, that's awesome. Very nice. So you were with CBI, right? Cambodia Bible Institute.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Yes.
We're praying for one Cambodian student who might come in next year. So we hope for more Cambodian students to come to APTS. Thank you, Diana. Okay, I'm going to ask Arlene.
Hi, I'm Arlene Fasala from American Samoa, and I'm currently I will be credentialed, getting my credential as a worker of the ministry this week here in the AG district in American Samoa. I'm currently teaching in our local Bible school and working also as a librarian at the same time. I'm also involved in our youth ministry and in Sunday school, doing Sunday school seminars at our church. So yeah, and for the research project, actually, there's still so much I'm struggling with what I want to write. Actually, I want to write about so many things, but ever since our class, our recent module last January and February, I was thinking to doing a rediscovering of biblical servant leadership model here in American Samoa, or just talking about training, developing especially young people, in the leadership ministry. But then there's also talking about the partnership of the churches in building up the Bible school and stuff. So, but I'm still, struggling with what to write about. But that's all for now. So, thank you.
Wow, Arlene. Okay, well, you have one day to decide. Tomorrow. Oh, wow. So it's raining cats and dogs here. So tomorrow we will be starting, discussing the research problem, the context of your problem, and so on. So you will have to decide what you will focus on. But good. Thank you, Arlene. Pastor Tupu.
Yo. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I think most of our classes already know me. So my name is Tupu. I'm a Samoan, reside here in New Zealand. I've got a family. I'm married with 5 kids now. Just 5 kids for now. Yeah, we just had a baby last week. Just had a baby last week on Thursday. So thank God. Thank you guys for your prayers. And ministry involvements. I still teach at our Bible school. And I also an all-day minister for the Samoan AG here in New Zealand. And I'm the assistant pastor for one of the local church. What's the other one?
What's your research project interest?
Because I think I did mention before to Dr. Barbara about the topic that I planning to write on. The reason why, because ever since I moved here in New Zealand and being involved in the Samoan AG churches here in New Zealand, I've been asking a lot of elders and of the church about the history, like a written history of the Samoan AG in New Zealand. And to be honest, up to this date, nothing it's being written and nothing it's being documented. So that really gives me the desire to trying and do a research and write something, put something in and papers for the next generation, because because the way I look at our general council at the moment, most of them, they are in their 70s going to 80s, and yeah, it's sad to say that there is nothing nothing has been written about the history of the Samoan AG here in New Zealand in particular. So that's the main reason that really encouraged me to do this, and hopefully God willing, and that I can do what I can do with God's help, and the next generation will continue, but at least have something in place.
Very good. You already have research design, qualitative, descriptive. And really, you have to interview them. They are growing old.
Yes,
They are
I
your
have
primary
already,
source.
yes, because like I said, one of the pioneers, he's in his 80 now, and the sad thing is I've already spoke with him, but some of the stuff that he can't really remember, like he can't really. So I have to find a way to find other people that was that they were. So, but some of them they're in US, some of them they're in Australia and Hawaii, and yeah. So I have to find a way to how to get to those people, to collect more information.
Wow, that's a worthwhile project though, because the history does need to be written for the next generation. So go for it, Pastor Tupi. The Lord put that in your heart.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How about, is Pastor Joe Marie here, Mulato? Maybe Sarah Jo, you should email him. Sarah and Pastor Joe Marie are in the same district, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please email him because he might not know that we have class today.
Oh.
But he already submitted all his requirements. Okay, let's go to Elijah. How should I call you, Elijah? Eria or Elijah?
Elijah.
I like to be called Elijah.
All right, okay. Go ahead.
The prophet.
Hi, my name is Elijah Nakagawa. I'm from Japan. I'm in the AG Japan, Assemblies of God Japan. And now, actually, in this matter, coronavirus, so that's why I have only few ministry. I am doing just sometimes a part-time preaching or something in my dad's is my senior pastor in the church and something like that. But just a few months ago, I was so busy because my dad doesn't know how to start the online worship or something. At that time, I was doing very good job in the ministry. Yeah, nothing like that. In the family life, my father and mother are the pastors, and my grandfather is also pastor. So I wanna inherit their spirit, something, and and my sisters are also good church members. So they are doing very well. And my research project interest is about preaching, because I want to become a good preacher for my congregation in my church or something like that. So, and my research question, it is not precisely things, but I made it. That is like, what kind of the worldview does AG Japan pastors have when they preach to unbelievers? Because in Japan, there is only few Christians, and evangelism is not so much well. So that's why do the better preaching to the unbeliever really can help the situation will better. So that's why I really want to research about this. Yeah, that's all.
Very nice. You'll have to do a cultural exegesis about,
Yeah,
I mean,
like.
about Japan.
Yes,
And I hear, you know, it's very hard to preach to Japanese. I heard they have a different worldview, as you said. And so how do you bridge Christian worldview to Japanese worldview? Yeah, you have to do a cultural exegesis. Good. And it will reflect in your review of related literature. Yeah. Wow, nice. Okay, how about, Bishop Joshua?
Yeah, my name is Joshua Obing. I'm from Ghana, West Africa. And we are charismatic independent, from a charismatic independent church. And I'm the resident pastor of our church. I serve under my dad, who serves as the apostolic head over about 1,000 churches. So, and then I have 2 kids and a wife, of course. And my research project will be focusing on leadership accountability among independent churches in Ghana.
That is wonderful. I love that topic, which is so important, especially for independent churches. Very good. Okay, Pastor Joel Olivar.
Yeah, my name is Joel Olivar, and I'm from the Philippines. I am now under the umbrella of our independent church, Mount Zion. And currently, I'm pastoring a church, serving as an associate pastor here in the main, and overseeing our 2 church plantings. I have 1 wife and 1 son, which I think, as the phrase said, one is enough for a wise man. Just kidding. My research project's interest is about church planting. Actually, I realized that Baptists and evangelicals are good in doing church planting, but Pentecostals are good in church division. So I realized that Pentecostal churches here in the Philippines multiplied not because of the church planting, but because of church splits. And so I'm focusing more on the area of church planting of the Pentecostal churches, especially in our umbrella in Fellowship of Ministers and Christian Churches all over the Philippines. Actually, I realized that our group is not good in church planting also. And I don't know what is the reason. So that's the reason why I'm doing this research. I'm desiring to have this research project in order for me to know in what area we are lacking. And in order for us to be part of those, we'll do the discipleship to many places as churches are being planted in those areas. I think that's all.
Wow, very interesting. So your context would be that fellowship, because, you know, Pentecostal charismatic, there's too many too many.
Mm-hmm.
For the AG, for example, we have a really good church planting laboratory, SOS. Our general superintendent is a church planter by heart. But yeah, different Pentecostal charismatic groups differ. But one thing we have in common, we have very loose ecclesiology. And so perhaps that's something you have to think on. Perhaps they need a theology of the church as well as church planting, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very interesting, but very broad topic. So you have to find a way to narrow that down, Pastor. Okay. How about Pastor Minal?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is a really great opportunity to join this class. Thank you, ma'am. My name is Mrinal Rotno. My nickname is Mark. You can call Mark. And my origin is from Bangladesh. Since 2016, after my graduation from APTS, one of my Japanese friend and me, we founded an organization called DLIGHT Foundation. We are serving suffering children, especially hopeless and orphanage children. Now we have almost 200 children in different places, but we have a residential home we call DLIGHT Children Home. I'm also involved in a church ministry. I'm AG pastor and involved in Dhaka Assemblies of God Church as an associate pastor. For my family life, we have 3 kids, 2 daughters and 1 son. That means almost 2 months ago, God has given a son for us. And my research project is business as ministry. I'm from Muslim country. Over 90% is Muslim, so our resource is limited. So that's why I'm just thinking and try to working business as ministry. And my question is how ministers can able to use minimum resource to impact the ministry. The object is to extend the church planting on ministry. Hello.
Hey, we lost few minutes in at APTS. So give us a few minutes to get rebooted.
Josh. Hey.
Hey.
Can't hear you. Need to unmute, Josh.
We had yeah, I did unmute.
Hey.
We had a lightning strike. So
okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Give her a few minutes.
Josh.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Power.
Now,
Yeah, we had a lightning strike.
I can't really hear what Sir is saying. You keep cutting off.
Okay. He said they had a lightning strike, and so she's trying to reboot.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, man. I had a very busy week.
I actually moved into one of the church apartments just to concentrate and get this one done. There was no way. There was no way I could take this class.
The power went off.
I think I might ask my wife if she can do that for me.
Good luck with that with the new baby.
I know, but
I'm in our church
just,
evangelist quarters also.
I was supposed to go in and pick up my boys, my kids from their training. They're finishing soon, but
So
Hi, Diane. What you say, Bishop?
I'm staying at my church's evangelist quarters also for the week.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I realized there was no way I could do it, so I just moved. Yeah, that it wouldn't have been.
For me, if it wasn't for the research seminar, I could have skipped this, but I have to wait like for another almost 2 years. I have to wait for another almost 2 years to get this class. You know, if I don't do it now, that means I have to wait like you're almost. That's what Dr. Barbara was saying.
This is your last model, right?
Yeah, that's there's a lot going on at the moment, and I very. Last night, I finally make up my mind to join the class today, because like thinking about waiting for another year and a half. Oh my! Aline, I'm happy to hear what you said. So when is that gonna happen?
Our Thursday, your Friday, this Friday.
Oh, that's good. He finally God answer my prayer.
Did you submit your reading log yet?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. This, like I said,
Really.
Because I wasn't sure what kind of format.
Finally,
Professor is back.
We're getting rebooted here up at APTS, so Laura should be coming online here shortly.
I'm here.
There we go.
She's here.
Yeah, we had a lightning.
She's back.
Lightning and then darkness.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, how about the others? Are you all here still? Sorry, Mark, I was not able to hear everything you said. Okay, is Mark here?
Mark?
Oh, there he is. Okay, you're on mute.
Okay.
All right, sorry, can you repeat?
Sure, no problem. I'm Pastor Minal Rotno. Mark, you can call me Mark. I'm from the Bangladesh, and after graduation in the 2016 from APTS, one of my Japanese friend and me, we established a organization called Delight Foundation. And especially we're working among the children, not only Christian, but unreached children group. Now we have almost 5 projects in different places. I'm also involved in AG church ministry. I mean, we call the BAG. I'm also associate pastor in Dhaka Assemblies of God. For family life, we have 3 children. Our oldest daughter is going to sit for O level, and we have 2 kids, 2 years and 2 months. My research project is business as ministry. I'm from Muslim country, and as a Christian community, we are very few. So my research question is how minister can able to use their minimum resource to impact the ministry. The object is to extend the church or church planting or ministry.
Wow, good. I think Dr. Robert Stefan would be the best supervisor for that. His PhD is on business as ministry, also for a Muslim area. So he might give you really good advice. I'm not sure if he'll be assigned to you, but awesome. Thank you for that, Mark. Okay, let's go to my president, Pastor Abe Vizca. I have 2 presidents, Samuan and Pastor Abe.
Well, I'm Abi Vizca. Looks like that I'm the oldest in this class. I'm also a returning student of DMIN. Came from the Philippines, Assemblies of God, and they're very Kalusay. I'm involved with, currently involved at Bethel Bible College, serving as president. Also part of Asia Pacific Theological Association, missionary to Papua New Guinea, and that's really my heartbeat mission. Literally, we're involved in the South, working among the Muslims, the Northern Shore, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, Sulu. And these are really the hotspot when it comes to missions. I'm also missionary mobilizer of ICS, where my son is serving as the senior pastor. So literally, I'm retired, supposedly retired by age. So my family, I'm a widower, and I only have one son with two grandchildren. One is 16 years old, and the other one is 8 years old. Well, when it comes to research project interest, I'm interested in the impact of the relevancy of the curriculum of Bachelor of Christian Ministries in Pastoral Leadership. Because through the years since Bethel Bible College was established, this has been the flagship of the school, but it's never been evaluated. So I'm looking into that. My research question based on that, I have prepared 3 major research questions in the light of immense changes in ministerial education, particularly church-based training phenomena, and demands for blended and online learning strategies. One question to ask is whether or not BBC's curriculum is still relevant to PGCAG churches. Another question evolving around the relevancy of our curriculum is that other than its long history and stature in denomination, what value does BBC add to the churches of PGCAG in the area of missions and ministerial training, especially in the new normal? And my last research question is what elements of ministerial training needed by the PGCAG churches are addressed or not addressed in the Bachelor of Christian Ministries Pastoral Leadership curriculum? So these are the 3 questions that I'll be looking at.
Wow, very necessary questions to ask. No, Pastor Abe is the president of a Bible college, an AG Bible college here in the Philippines, and that's a very necessary question because how many years? 50 years BBCAG has been.
Oh, it's now 80 years old.
Wow, 80 years old.
Yeah, well, 79.
Almost 80.
Yeah.
Awesome.
By the way, I would like to be thankful to this class and also to my classmates who are younger than me in number of years. So I'll be learning from you.
We'll also be learning from you, Pastor. He's a church father, a veteran. Yeah, but very necessary, for a school that's 80 years old. You need to evaluate. So qualitative, evaluative research. Very good questions. Okay,
Now
thank you.
Now we have the father of the nation now. Because Kayla is gone, she was the mother of the nation. And now we have the father of the nation now.
We've got really good biblical names here. We have Abraham, Joshua, and Elijah. And then we've got Mark too. Okay, let's have our last one, Pastor Meng, Ibo Meng.
Yeah, hello. My name is Ibo Meng. I think I'd better change my Zoom name to Alphabet 1 so you can recognize me. This is my name in Chinese writing, so maybe most of you cannot read except Elijah. So Yeah. Elijah and I were classmates. We all graduated from the same Bible school in Japan. I've been here. I'm Chinese. I've been living in Japan for more than 10 years, since 2009. I came here as a foreigner student learning Japanese, but I got saved and got called by God after I came to Japan, and now I'm serving in a Chinese church in Tokyo here in Japan, and my family life. I live here in Japan all by myself, and but the other family members, they all live in China. My mom and my dad, my elder sister. So it's because of the coronavirus, I cannot go back home recently. I miss them very much. Yeah, but we got a lot of work to do in our church recently. Kind of busy. And as to my research project, I haven't got my specific topic, but I think my research will be focused on how to do ministry as a Chinese church in Japan, because we are all waiting for the revival of Japan, and as a Chinese church, I'm as a foreign church, I would say, especially as a Chinese church, what can we do to help or to make a contribution to the revival of Japanese church? What can we do? Something like that. Yeah, sorry, not so specific, but yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and you need to think more and
Yes.
specify that more. But
Yes.
that's a very good topic. A Chinese church in Japan, you might
Yes.
just be the instrument of Japanese revival.
Yeah, amen.
Amen, amen. Okay, thank you, everyone. Let's pray for Pastor Jo Marie because he's trying to connect. I just received the message. He's trying to connect, but there's a internet problem in their area. Okay, thank you for sharing your interest, your research project interest. Let's just go through the syllabus. Don't forget that the ultimate goal of this class, if there's just one thing we can finish, and that's chapter 1 of your research project, a minimum of 15 pages. Okay, your annotated bibliography of 3 books and 3 journals is due tonight. Philippine time is 12 minutes, so just calculate what time it is for you in your country. We have 3 learning tasks throughout this week. It will start tomorrow. Okay, so that's why I'll try to limit the lecture to 4 hours only so that you have time to do the learning tasks. Don't worry, these are just drafts, but the important thing is you will really, practice, do it. So that by the time you submit your research, your chapter 1, you'll have an idea how to do things, and at least we can submit something to Dr. Barbara Auger. This is the product. Okay. You also have to do a 5 to 7 pages review of related literature, of course, connected to your research projects. You have to decide what your research project is, and then do a 5 to 7 pages review of related lit. That will really help you because chapter 2 of your dissertation is the review of related literature. So together with that, you already have a proposal. Okay, something that you can submit to the DMIN committee. They will approve, they will assign a supervisor, and so on. Now, the 2,000 to 3,000 pages read is the requirement for all DMIN classes, but I won't trace that. I won't check if you've read 2,000 to 3,000 pages. I will assume that you have. Why? Because you have to do a 5 to 7 pages review of related lit, and you have to do other research. So the requirements that I wrote here would ultimately, in the end, assure that you have read at least 2,000 pages. Okay. Here are components of a good Doctor of Ministry research project: a biblical theological base. So please remember that you must have, in sciences, other scientific research, they would say a theoretical base. But we are a religious, theological, academic field. And so it's a biblical theological base. You must have one. A review of related literature. You must have solid research. You must be responsible in the use of resources, meaning referencing, using appropriate referencing styles, and of course, choosing appropriate methodologies and applying appropriate methodologies. For late assignments, 5% will be deducted. Unless you email me and ma'am, can you give an extension? So I am very gracious and merciful. I will give you an extension if you just tell me ahead of time and your reason is valid. Okay, but if your assignment is late, more than 7 days, it's automatically failed. Okay. Now, you are allowed 1 absence in this class, or tardiness amounting to total of 3 hours only. Okay. Plagiarism, you already know this. Please do not plagiarize. It's a serious violation of Christian integrity, and it could result in you failing this class. And we are only allowed 3 instances of plagiarism, and you'll be kicked out of the program. Here are our grading mechanics. You can read that in your syllabus. Just remember that your post-class submission after the lectures, after our week here, you have to submit your review of related literature by August 31 and chapter 1 of your research project by September 15. All through email. Okay. Any questions about your requirements before we start with our lesson proper?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Because we are from far and we cannot access the library, the FPTS library. So even in here, for myself, we cannot buy any book in Bangladesh. So how can we access the book the resource? Because before submitting our requirement, we have to access the books. So the resource. Otherwise, we cannot. So how can we get help from you?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, in your, I'll try to pull it up again. In your Moodle, I uploaded a document entitled Updated Library Sources. So that document has a list of online sources that you can go to. It has the link and the password. So for example, Global DTL. So APTS has, invested in global digital libraries. So an example would be this one. Global DTL, where are you? Okay, this one. This is one online library that we have. So aside from Alexandria, the one it's a catalog system directly to connected to our library, physical library, we have EBSCO for journals, ProQuest for dissertations and thesis and journals, and then this one is Global DTL. For example, I'm looking for a book on Philippians. Search this one, and then these are the books. Okay, so you have access to Global DTL. The password, there is a password. So if, for example, you click this book and you want to view this book, so it's you can download it, by the way. Let me open one book. See, this will appear. And so you have to enter the barcode. This is our barcode. It's already in my web browser. I sent that to you in the document updated library sources, the password. And so you have an access to the book. And you can download each page. Okay, so this is our online library, one of our online libraries. So we have EBSCO, ProQuest, and this one, Global DTL. Okay, so the document I sent you is very important because I understand that you might not have library access. So online sources are available for you. And I understand that you might not have a lot of books, so make use of journal articles instead. And dissertations are okay too. Okay? Any more questions? So this is one of our libraries.
With the literature review, are we talking about a couple of books or just one book?
You know, we're going to have a class on how to do a review of related literature. So I'm going to park that question, and then that class will answer that question. Okay.
And with the reading log, do you just need us to just mention the number of pages we read?
Yes, you are required to read the 3 books, that 2 books and 1 dissertation, all those 3, and just assure me by your Christian integrity, because I will not see you, that you have read it. That's all. Once you submit that paper to me, I will give you a perfect score because I trust you.
Because I wasn't sure which format did you want it.
The one in the syllabus, just write the author, title of the book, page number. That's it. So 3,
okay.
all 3.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any more questions? All right, let's proceed. Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. I will ask later on.
No, go ahead if you need to ask that question.
No, it's okay. It's okay, man.
All right, let's go on to an introduction of the Doctor of Ministry Research Project. So your project is different from the MTH, different from the PhD. Why? Because it is a more of an applied research project. So it's a more practical research than the PhD and the MTH, which are more academic research. Okay. So the Doctor of Ministry is a professional program with an emphasis on practical theology. It requires theological reflection applied to a pastoral situation. Wow. So you have to use theological reflection to your pastoral situation. And you're all pastors, you're all ministers in different ways, in different levels. So you have to apply theological reflection. Now, although DMIN papers represent doctoral level work, they are usually called projects rather than dissertation. Although in the library, your completed projects are labeled dissertation. Okay, so the aim of a DMIN project is not so much to enlarge the fund of knowledge as to solve a problem in ministry and to provide the pastor researcher an opportunity for personal growth. So you're solving a problem, a ministry related problem. And in the process, you help yourself grow as a minister. The ministry project will involve the design, implementation, and evaluation of an action in ministry. That is, you're going to do something, introducing something new into your ministry. What you do should address a significant situation or issue within your ministry setting, something that you and your partners in ministry care about. The project should set out a strategy to effect change that will transform and/or intensify the faith and practice of your ministry community. And you should be able to reflect on what happens in a way that makes your learning relevant beyond your particular community and therefore adds to the general body of knowledge about and practice of ministry. So becoming a doctor of ministry, so after the entire program, you'll be doctor. It means that you have learned something new about how ministry happens and are able to reflect on that learning in a way that enables you to be a teacher of ministry. So what is the form or content? You are required to produce a written doctoral level project that addresses both the nature and practice of ministry. This ministry project should demonstrate the candidate's ability to identify a specific theological topic in ministry, organize an effective research model, use appropriate resources and evaluate the results, and should reflect the candidate's depth of theological insight in relation to ministry. So this is the ultimate goal of your DMIN project. Timothy Lincoln says that DMIN project constitutes a genre of its own, an exercise in phronesis, practical Christian wisdom. He summarizes, written for an audience of persons engaged in ministry, the project should address an issue arising out of ministerial practice. Okay, so that's the first tip for you. If you still cannot decide on your topic, it has to be an issue, a problem arising out of ministerial practice. So after you have identified that issue, then you use an appropriate research model informed by the social sciences and interpret itself from the point of view of a Christian minister. Okay. DMIN projects are varied as the ministries of those who write them are. Some are more practical, others can be more theoretical, but mainly ministry figures prominently. So at the center of any DMIN project is ministry. So we call it research in ministry. So what are the different types of DMIN research projects? There are many. I will just cite the most common types. The first one would be program development. So in program development research project, a student develops a program and applies it in his or her ministry setting. The program may be as short as a weekend seminar or as long as a church revitalization program. I think we have several or a few DMIN graduates here from APTS whose DMIN project was really the backbone of the programs in their churches, and even became a source of a course that they're teaching in a school. So it could be a program or it could be a course. So in program development research, the researcher determines the need for a program or intervention, establishes a theoretical basis, sets its objectives, designs it, implements it, and evaluates the result. So if it is, if the setting or the context is educational, maybe a Bible school or a seminary, program development often has to do with curriculum and classes. So the project will result in a course or in a let's say a seminar. So if it's church life, if the setting is the church, the program is whatever steps you deem necessary to solve a problem, such as low percentage of tithing. You know, what if there's a church problem? People don't tithe, or they will ask they give you 100 pesos, but they will ask 50 pesos in exchange. You know, well, and anyway, how do you help develop their mindset in tithing? Or there's a problem with the children's ministry. The children are not discipled well. You think, the way you see it, the children are not discipled well. So you develop a program. How do you help improve the children's ministry in the church? So classes or seminars may be involved, but the program may just as well be a mentoring plan. So it could just be a one-on-one training program. This could be like a counseling in the church, how you propose a program for counseling one-on-one, mentoring one-on-one, and so on. So basically you are developing a program for a church, a school or seminary, or for an organization, non-government organization, your ministries. Here are the steps in program development. 1, you define the problem. 2, you describe the population, because that's the context of your problem. Then set goals and objectives, review the literature, design the program, prepare materials and resources, implement the program. After you implement, it's like you choose a sample group where you will implement that program, and then you evaluate. Then after you do all that, then you write the paper. So in program development, writing the paper is the last thing you will do. First you're gonna formulate the program, implement it, see if it works or not, and then evaluate it, and then write the paper. Okay, so you do the research first and the experimentation first before you present it in writing. Okay, so that's program development. Let's do it one by one. So first, define the problem. Decide what is wrong or needs fixing. Start with your own observation, then ask questions of others. Second, describe the population. Describe the church for which you are preparing the program. That means including membership profile, finances, ministries, participation. Also find out about age, education, income, years of membership, where they live. Basically describe the possible recipients of the program. And then set goals and objectives. So the first two steps describes reality. So this is the problem and this is the context of that problem. Now the third step describes the ideal. Now knowing this is reality, what is my ideal? What is my goal? Okay, what do we want to happen? What will things look like when the problem is solved? Then the third one would be set goals and objective, continue. So goals are the final destination and objectives are smaller goals along the way. So goal is like the ultimate final destination. And then the objectives are smaller goals along the way that point the way, keeping a researcher on track. So they also serve as norms against which to measure performance. To be useful, goals and objectives must be expressed as outcomes. So outcomes should be measurable. It should also be validated by the researcher and other experts. For example, your outcome, a measurable outcome should not be vague. So example here, this sample outcome, it says Valley Church members, so this is the name of the church, Valley Church, will understand the importance of spiritual gifts. But the word understand is very hard to measure. How do you know if they understood? You know, what are the criteria for measuring that? And so a more specific and measurable outcome would be this. Valley Church members who attend the workshop will evidence knowledge of the doctrine of spiritual gifts by explaining it to those who did not attend. So here is something more measurable. You will see the output. There's a practical output. They have to do this, and then I will know if they understood the lesson or not. Okay, so your outcomes should be measurable. Something that you can measure, that you can check. And then, of course, number 4 is review the literature. So in this step, the researcher must establish an acceptable basis for the project. The review of literature should generally include 3 aspects. So when you say review of literature, you're going to review all or most of related literature, books, journals, thesis or dissertation, magazines, even web journals that pertains to your topic, that has something to do with your topic, so that you can have a better understanding of the backdrop of your topic and what others have written about it. Okay, now for a program development study, there are 3 areas that you must do a review of literature. 1, theoretical basis for the program, meaning what have other scholars said? As for example, you're going to do, I think Joy talked about a young adult ministry here. So she wants to develop, you know, how to minister to young adults, how to, am I right, empower the young adults, okay? So now look for books, articles, or journals that talk about young adult ministry, like give us a theoretical basis why that's important. Why do you need a young adult ministry? So look for books, resources that help you establish the theoretical base. Second, review other books or literatures that talk about young adult ministry, like existing young adult ministry programs. Okay. And then lastly, study the people, study the young adults in your church, study the young adults in your district. Okay. And then this 3 becomes your chapter 2, the review of your related literature. You studied all these 3, theoretical basis for the program, a review of other similar programs, and a study of people, such as the ones for whom the program or intervention is being developed. So the information gathered in the 3 areas may become just 1 chapter, 3 sections, or it could be 3 chapters. Okay. My thesis, my review of related literature was 4 sections, 1 very long chapter. But I think because APTS Press is going to publish it, they divided it into 4 chapters. Okay, so a review of literature is really long because you have to prove that you have read almost everything about the topic. You understand your topic very well. So let's begin with theoretical basis for your review of lit. For Christians, of course, for scientists, they call it theoretical, but for us, we call it theological basis. Okay, so the basis is always the Bible. What does it say about the thrust and our content of the program or intervention? What have other scholars and our pastors written about the topic? What is the tradition of the particular church or denomination on this body, on this topic? Then review similar programs. So examine studies or journals on research in ministry. Look at published books on church programs. You can also look into denominational literature. You may find out what others are doing in local churches about common Christian problems. And then lastly, the population involved. Review studies and literature about people in the study area of a certain age or ethnic group, those groups that need to be studied. What do they value? How do they learn? What are their major concerns? How do we communicate to them? Okay, since a program cannot be carried out apart from people, knowing about them is important. Okay, we have to know the community. You have to know the people that you are gonna try implement this program to. Okay, so after doing the review of lit, then you start designing the program. So you already know the reality, you have a goal, and you already studied everything about this topic. Now start designing a program. You already have an idea. So once the contents of the program have been determined on the basis of the objectives chosen, the theoretical literature studied, and a clear understanding of the people for whom the intervention is needed, the program can be designed. So since program development is being done as research, all of these aspects must be documented. So you document how you design the program. Then prepare materials and resources. Written materials will become part of the research together with copies of visual aids and handouts. They will go to the appendix of the paper. A good rule to follow is to include in the written paper everything someone else would need to replicate the program. Okay, and if I were reading your dissertation, my context is different, my country is different, but we have the same context, you know, in a sense that I'm talking about my young adults in the church. So I could look at your dissertation and say, oh, this is a good program, maybe I can follow it, maybe I can apply it in my church. And so you have to affix in the appendix all the materials needed for me, a reader, to try to implement your program in our church, a different church. So also, when you are preparing materials, designing the program, get a second opinion from a trusted mentor. Now, this could be your academic advisor or an experienced pastor. Then implement the program. So now you have the program, try to experiment, you know, choose a group of people with the permission of the church to implement this program and see if it works. So after going through the preliminary steps, which is getting permission from the church board, you present it to the church members, you advertise it, present the program according to your plan. It may be wise to make a first presentation of your program on a reduced scale, maybe in a small church or with a small group. Then, as the program is being implemented, keep a journal, complete with dates, times, and names, as well as impressions, yours and those of the participants. Take note of everything that happens during the sessions. This information will be useful in evaluating the program and in presenting the written report. You may also use evaluation forms to help objectively assess the program from the perspective of the participants. And after you implement the program, after a period of, you know, letting the program just operate, start evaluating the program. So the evaluation must be multifaceted, several kinds of evaluation made by different people. For example, the church members involved in the program can be surveyed to find out how they felt about the program. Successful evaluation must be planned early and with care. Questions must be asked thoughtfully. Design evaluation questions that minimize bias. So for example, instead of asking whether they like the program or not, ask what the participants liked most and least, or what should be added or deleted the next time the program is presented. So program development demands weeks and months of reading, planning, preparation, presentation, and evaluation. It is appropriate for a thesis or a major project planned to take a longer period under the direct supervision of a thesis or a dissertation advisor. After you evaluate the program, you can start writing your paper. Okay, so basically for program development, writing the paper is the last. It's basically just recording and presenting it to your thesis supervisor and to the DMIN program committee. But it's more of really experimenting and seeing if it works. If you, what your ideal and your plan fits the context of the community, the ministry context that you are in. Okay. The DMIN, AP test DMIN format is as follows. You have this in your, I think in your manual. So the chapter 1, review of lit, description, presentation, conclusion. Okay. So program development can be useful in pastoral work for preparing workshops, special weeks, weekend programs, lesson series, or training programs for church officers. Actually, it could also be good for operations manual, developing an operations manual of sorts. So naturally in the church setting, they may not be followed as precisely as these steps for a research project. However, following the suggestions given here will enhance the pastor's presentation of special programs in the church. So the thing, these were just, suggestions. In the end, we understand the differences in community, and we have to be flexible in how you apply or implement your program. But the important thing is you record everything and you present the findings in your paper. An example of a DMIN church program development was one of our students here, Dr. Aipolo. He is from which church? Tonga, yeah. So the title of his DMIN project or dissertation is Small Groups, a Discipleship and Leadership Development Strategy for Church Health in Nuku Alofa Assembly of God. So the purpose of his project was to develop a discipleship plan using small group strategy to meet church health issues in the First Church Nuku Alofa Assembly of God. And hopefully, which I believe is what was his goal, will also be applicable to the whole Tongan Assemblies of God. So he used his church as what we call a case study. Like, this is the church where I will implement this program, and if it works, then we can recommend this to the entire Assemblies of God in Tonga. Okay, so that's an example of a church program development. This dissertation is in your Moodle. So Dr. Aipolo, I emailed him and he agreed. You can read the PDF copy of his dissertation if you want to know how he did that, how he designed the program, how he implemented and evaluated it, and so on. Okay, his data collection tools were survey, interview, and review of texts. So if you want to read his program development, you just go to his dissertation in your Moodle. Okay, so this is program development. Okay, do you have any questions about program development? Do you think this could be possibly your research approach or research design? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe. No.
Okay, so I think it's break time, yeah. So let's take a break, 5 minutes, go on, have coffee or to the bathroom, and then we'll come back after 5 minutes and we'll talk about, 5 minutes break. Is Pastor Jo Marie here? Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, please go on a break, 5 minutes.
Oh, is this guy that we're waiting for?
Lagi, on time na dating mga classmates ko, may
Elijah.
Sir, hi.
Yeah.
It's my lunchtime, Pastor.
It's your lunchtime there.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Actually, I didn't eat. That's why. It's just only that.
It's my dinner time.
Oh, Pastor. It's mean that you can't eat the dinner with your family now because of the class.
No, yeah, I have to wait. My family has to wait.
Oh, so kind of you guys. That's so kind, huh?
Yeah, but it's okay. I told them to.
Yeah. This is a traditional food from Japan. My mom that cooked for me. Yeah.
Do you eat a lot of sushi over there?
Oh yeah, Pastor. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
I hadn't missed to eat sushi too much, so yeah. My dad and my friends, brought me to go to the sushi shop.
When I come to Japan, then you have to take me to a sushi place.
Of course, Pastor. I know a lot of the good shops there. So yeah, please come. Really, I really wanna enjoy to do that with you.
Yeah. Lin.
Wow.
Mình mang không?
Level.
Ôi. Trời. Mang hay là làm phải lên miệng hả?
Mình này.
Để mang huy bắp cháy. Cái đồ coi kiki ao ang va pe de o la o va senga mun muli leo le. Ai mai sale va senga le research. Wai o vale pisi sur kwa de ai se kai me. E fai se me ongas.
Coi que foi a calefia a ver va senga le piscine.
Bishop.
What's up, T?
Hey.
I am still sleepy.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still sleepy. But it's good I was able to come here and focus and yeah.
That's good, man. How's the family?
They're great. I left them yesterday.
Oh, okay. How far from the house? Where you at?
I've come into the mountains, which is about 2 hours.
Wow.
From the house, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just to focus and get some stuff done. How's the newborn?
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Yeah.
Is he a boy or a girl, Pastor?
It's a girl.
Girl.
It's kind of like weird having a baby, like, crying in the middle of the night, like after 6 years.
Okay. Is it the last or?
Oh no, it's not the last.
Oh, that's a good question. We'll see. I have to ask her if this is the last.
I'll speak for him. It's not the last.
Hey, Bishop, what'd she say?
I said I'll speak for you. It's not the last.
I think you need to. I think you need to talk to her.
It's good, Pastor. At least still you can still have. If the Lord permits, it's an opportunity.
Yes, of course, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think your kids are probably not rowdy because I can't have a class with my kids around. They don't take no.
I only have one. I'm supposed to have 2 or 3, but I don't know why. Same with Ma'am Laura. Maybe another one is coming.
We're praying.
Yeah, I spoke to Pastor Carlo before I came back. I told him to have another one.
He already has a name for his son.
Oh, good.
So the pressure is on me. Give him a son.
Just let Tupu lay hands on you and you be fine.
That's right. That's
right. In part.
Yes.
Oh, sorry for that. Just a sec.
How old is the eldest pastor? Tofu?
My daughter, she's 16.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in high school now.
All right.
And then my son, Jonathan, he's 13.
Okay, so 3 years?
The other one. My other son, he's 11.
Okay. 4 years?
Yeah, the little one, and then the 6-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this one.
Oh.
Five total. Two girls.
Yeah, 2 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you still have 2 more, Pastor.
You know, actually now you're saying that because that was the number that I told her. I want 7.
Yeah, I know.
So, but yeah, I think Bishop needs to pray for her.
Yeah.
That you will agree.
I'm following after you. I only have 2 and I'm done.
Okay. We're gonna resume.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask Pastor Joe Marie. This is his first DMIN class. No, he graduated with the MA. Yeah.
When you say the name, I was trying to, recap my, and now he's.
You see the face now.
Yeah. Hey, Pastor.
Pastor Joe Marie, we all introduced ourselves earlier, our names, our ministries, our churches, family life, and also research project interest. Okay, can you do that? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Can you hear me, Mom? Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. I was a little bit late because there was a problem with my signal in the house. I had to drive 40 minutes away from home to be in the office to be able to catch up with you guys. My name is Jomari Mulato. I'm from Bacolod City, Philippines. And I'm a bit nervous about this new program that I take on, but I know that we need more prayer. I need more prayers and understanding and acceptance from this group of class. Thank you very much, Ma'am Laura. God bless everyone.
He needs your understanding and acceptance, guys. What's your research project interest, Pastor? So you're in the district office now?
Yes, Ma'am.
Oh, wow.
It's leadership succession plan. Leadership succession plan for management.
Okay, so Pastor Jomer is currently a district official or previously a district official?
No, I already tendered my resignation two years ago when I went to APTS. I am just currently teaching the Bible school and some ministries here in our district.
Okay, so your topic has to do with your experience being a district official, seeing some of leadership in the churches and so on.
Yes, ma'am. I've seen a lot of that in our district, and I feel like it's a problem because we have a problem in leadership succession. Much of our churches have older leaders, and they don't have associate pastors or trained leaders to be their successors. Now we're working on that.
Sounds a bit familiar with Samoan culture. I heard before that leaders in Samoa, they stay leaders forever. Am I right, Pastor Tupu and Arlene?
Yeah.
So, like I said, our executive committee now is They are all in, most of them, they're in 70 and 80s. Yeah, and
So maybe it's something the islanders have in common.
yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty much the same as our other, Pacific Islanders as well.
Ah, so see, Pastor Jomar, you have to search the cultural aspect of it.
It's a very good tip for me, Pastor Tugu.
Okay, let's continue on with the different types of DMIN research. So what I'm just showing you the different, or actually the usual research projects that our DMIN students here at APTS they do. I went to the library and checked every every project, and I was able to see the common projects that they submit. So the first one is program development. Okay, so if you have ministry issues relating to the need for a program, the need for an intervention in the ministry, that's the perfect research approach for you. Okay, another one, which is really quite common, the most common, is what we would call descriptive research. Oh, where's this? Descriptive research. There you are. So the purpose of descriptive research is to make reality known. As a result, conclusions may be reached and decisions made. For a DMIN project, the results of a descriptive research may guide policy making or change, interventions, and or program development. Here's the origins of descriptive research, so you will understand what this research is about. The one who really started descriptive research is John Howard. So he conducted a descriptive research in 1773 in order to prove that there were inhumane conditions in the prisons of Bedford, England. He traveled all over England, visiting jails and noting the exact number of prisoners, what crimes they had committed, the conditions under which they were held, and other matters concerning the prison system. After completing his descriptive research, he stood before the House of Commons, or we would call it Congress in our country, and gave a detailed and precise report that became the basis for important prison reforms. So this was his book, The State of the Prisons in England and Wales. So basically he gathered the data, and then he described the reality of the prison system in their country. And the report Howard prepared did not really resolve the problem. It just described reality, but it became a basis for solution. Okay? It provided the information necessary to set a change in motion. And this is the usefulness of descriptive research. Many of our research now, many of the things that we know now, it really comes from descriptive research. And before you make any policy change for an organization, a church, you should have descriptive research first. You should describe reality first before you can say, oh, there should be a change made, or that the result of a descriptive research will in turn result into a formulation of a theory that will guide policy making. Okay, so it's really important. Descriptive research is important. So what is the purpose of descriptive research? One, you collect detailed factual information that describes existing phenomena. Two, identify problems or justify conditions and practices. Three, make comparisons and evaluations. Four, determine what others are doing with similar problems or situations and benefit from their experience in making future plans and decisions. The steps in descriptive research are define, design, collect, and write. So define the objectives. Within the framework of the purpose of the study, what is the information to be obtained? So what do you want to learn? And from whom is it to be obtained? Who is your target population or target source of information? What facts and characteristics are to be uncovered? These questions must be answered in order to accomplish the first step. Knowing exactly what you need to find out is the foundation of good descriptive research. What do you need to find out? Okay, if you have that, in your mind, you will not be sidetracked in your research. So after you define the objective, what you need to find out, then you design the approach. So the second step is to decide on the best way to obtain different kinds of information. Personal interviews may be appropriate to gather some data. Other information is best obtained by using a questionnaire, a survey form. Still, other data can be obtained from records, reviewing records. And personal observation is valid as well. Actually, when I heard your research interest, most of it can be, most of your questions or most of your interest can be answered through this descriptive approach. If you want this, of course. There are three research approaches, actually. You have qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods. And each three has different types under them. But I only required you to read qualitative, right? Because quantitative and mixed methods, well, they require statistics, they require higher forms of research, interdisciplinary forms of research, and we don't really have the time to discuss them. But anyway, the 6 common types of qualitative research are narrative research. Narrative research is actually very good with history study. If you want to do a historical study tracing the history of something, you can use narrative research. Phenomenology, if you want to observe a phenomenon like a group of Pentecostals, they worship, and when they worship, they have they get a snake and let the snake dance and bite them, and they don't get poisoned. Wow, phenomenology. Okay, you can do that. You can do a phenomenological study. Grounded theory is when you gather data, and from that data, from the ground up, you formulate a theory. Okay, all the data put together results into a new theory. And that theory will later on guide policy. So that's grounded theory. Ethnography, you study as a group, a tribe, an ethnic tribe or group. You really stay in their community and you interview them, you observe, etc. That's ethnography. Case study, for case study, there are many cases, but you choose one, usually the most unusual, the most unique, the most deviant. When I was a nursing student, we did case studies for 3 years. I could wake up and do case studies. We would always choose the most unique and unusual cases. We will not choose the common cold, pneumonia. We will choose cancer, very difficult subjects, and then you study. Really, go through every aspect of that case until you understand it. And of course, descriptive research. For quantitative methods, these are experimental designs and non-experimental designs, which are called, for example, surveys. But usually quantitative methods are used by social sciences. For us, when we use quantitative methods, we're actually referring to surveys. So most often what we do is we do surveys, and that's quantitative. Okay, but the natural scientists and other sciences, they do experiments. So they test the viability of a theory and so on. So what are the instruments for these types of research? If your method is interviewing, your instrument is questionnaire. So it could be open-ended or closed-ended questions. If you are doing a survey, it's also a survey form or a questionnaire. Observation, use an observation journal because you will record your observations. For content analysis is basically analyzing or reviewing texts like historical records, documents, literature, books, journals, archives, and so on. So your instrument are those documents. And then audio visual analysis, photos, videos, audio materials. So after you decide on your research approach or your research design, you start collecting data. So you send out the questionnaires, you go through the interview process, you participate, or you directly observe. I think on Wednesday, or is it Thursday, we'll discuss how to do survey, interview, sampling, and observation. So we'll try to discuss those common data collection methods. Here's a tip. Always remember, always write down precisely and accurately your findings. Do not attempt to reconstruct by memory. Actually, for my thesis, I did an observation method. I tried to gather data via observation, but it was null and void. Why? Because I did not have a journal. I did not record my observation. I tried, I told my supervisor, well, I still remember it. I was there and I remember I'll just write it down, but it was too late. I should have written it down on the day I was there or immediately after, making you note down the dates, because your memory might be faulty. You might start imagining things and write it down on your journal. So you must write immediately. Do not try to reconstruct by memory. Okay, so the importance of clear notes or recordings cannot be overemphasized. Also, when you use any of the data collection, interview, observation, or survey, there are protocols. And your book on Creswell, which you read because you have the reading log, you will notice there that there are interview protocols, observation protocols, and survey protocols. An example of a descriptive research by a DMIN student here in APTS is by Dr. Conserman. Okay, she's a Filipina. I think she married an American, but she used to teach at Lubic, Luzon Bible College. Yeah. So the title of her research, An Assessment of Ministry Formation of the Graduating Students of Assemblies of God Bible Colleges in Northern Luzon, Philippines. So assessment studies or evaluation studies are also descriptive studies. So in her study, she said this project studied and evaluated the level of the graduating students' preparation for the ministry tasks so that we can seek ways to upgrade their training. It answers the questions. Do the Bible colleges train young students well for ministry tasks? She asked a very necessary but also hard to ask question. Are we doing our job well? Basically. So she evaluated Lubic, Luzon Bible College, and she surveyed all the students there to see if really they were able to train them well for ministry, for real life ministry. And you can read her dissertation I uploaded it in Moodle, but she only gave us access to introduction and conclusion. Okay, because if you want to read the entire book, you'll have to come to our library and read it. But her book, her work is really important and a really good example of descriptive research. So she described the readiness of the students for ministry. And she also, out of that came recommendations for the Bible school. Okay, so that is descriptive research. Okay, do you have any questions about descriptive research? Okay, let's move on to case study. Now, the case study studies one situation, the activities of one group or one incident. Naturally, a pastor's case study looks at an event or person or situation related to ministry. It must analyze the background of the incident, all of the factors that contribute to the interplay and interaction, and what actually happens. So a pastoral case study brings into the study a biblical theological point of view. Such a case study begins with a narration and ends in a theological understanding of how such an event should be handled. It is a tool for reflection, since the case is usually taken from the pastoral researcher's own ministry, and it leads to self-analysis and assists in establishing theological guidelines for handling future episodes of the same nature. So here are some definition of terms when you talk about case studies. So a case is an objective description of a pastoral situation or relationship about which theological reflection will be done. The written case is the basis of a case study. A case study is the process of pastoral theological reflection about a given case. Based on the original case, it analyzes, reflects, theologizes, and prescribes action. The fact that the word study is used to describe this way of thinking suggests method, effort, and discipline in reflection. The case study method is a way of doing pastoral theological reflection. Such a method normally starts from a case and proceeds via critical analysis of the data to a constructive interpretation of the pastoral theological issues implied in the case, and it culminates in guidelines for action. The case study method is used in pastoral education to enable pastors to enhance their critical and creative ability for doing theology. Being able to do theology in ministry helps answer the nagging questions, why and how. For example, why do I direct worship in this particular way? Why do I handle a broken relationship in the congregation the way I do? Why do I preach in a certain way? How can I do this better? How can the church handle situations such as this one? So the case study method is very good for why and how questions. Descriptive research is good for what? Okay, good for what questions, but case study methods are good for why and how questions. So Robert Yin said, the essence of a case study, the central tendency among all types of case study, is it tries to illuminate a decision or a set of decisions, why they were taken, how they were implemented, and with what result. I remember reading a dissertation by John Loy King about the oneness Pentecostals in the Philippines. So there are a group of Pentecostals who do not believe in the Trinity. I think they are in America, they're in the Philippines. But this group, I just remember Pastor Joel's mentionings about splits. They are very popular for splits too. So in his dissertation, it was the oneness Pentecostals in the Philippines in the framework of schism. Schism, splits. So he studied the three top groups, he did a case study, and he tried to understand why they would split. What were the usual problems, and so on. So unfortunately, the book is not available by Amazon. I read it through academia.edu. So it was a very interesting study. So he tried to understand the dynamics of their churches, why they have a tendency to split. And hopefully through that study, the churches will learn how to, let's say, how to avoid splits, how to be a better church, and so on, or the possible reasons for splits, and so on. So the framework of schism, very interesting. Okay, so this is a good format for case studies, but this is multiple case study. So for example, you want to study the mega churches in the Philippines. Let's say CCF, Victory, JIL, Jesus is Lord. Anyway, these are really huge churches with more than, with thousands of churches, thousands of members in the Philippines. So first you develop a theory. Mega churches, for example, you say are, they become mega churches because of this discipleship framework. That's just a theory. And then you select a case. Now, in order for me to check if my theory is correct, I will choose 3 cases in the Philippines. I will choose Victory Christian Fellowship. I will choose CCF. I will choose JIL. So case 1, case 2, case 3. You study them. How do they do things? Why are they a mega church? Is it this discipleship? Is it blah, blah, blah? You study every aspect of their church, and then you file individual case reports. And then you do a cross-case conclusion, read through them and see, these are something they have in common. These are things they don't have in common. And then you realize, oh, my theory is not enough. I will change my theory, modify it according to your findings. From that, you can develop a policy. These are the things we can learn from them. And then widen the the report. You can include not just, your church, but let's say the entire Assemblies of God. What can we learn from these mega churches? Okay, so this is an example of a case study. This method helps pastors and student pastors learn from a situation, either their own or someone else's. The case study method is a tool to enhance awareness of the individuals involved, of the situation, of the message of scripture, and of the pastor's own religious study. So doing a case study is also doing theology, applying God's word to everyday life. This way of doing theology, of thinking theologically, is not simply a tool. It is an experience. However, it is a disciplined experience. Reliving and rethinking a case brings theology out of experience. You bring theology out of experience. The result is a theologically sound and contextually viable pastoral action. The parts of a case study first is observation, analysis, interpretation, and action. So observation, what the senses capture. So the first activity involved in developing a case study is careful observation of the case. So this demands effort to listen, to see, hear, and even experience. So you have to go there. You have to be there. You have to observe. Everything that is said and done in relation with the incident or case must be noted. Close observation is basis for understanding. So the data collection method for case study, a real good one is observation, either direct observation or participant observation. How to do this, you can read more in your book, pages 166 to 171, and also another book by Danny Jorgensen. Okay. Then you do analysis, the horizontal dimension. Once the case has been written out, the next step is to carefully analyze the events, interactions and reactions of the person or persons involved in the case. Of special importance are the views expressed by those involved. Obviously, the work done at this stage presupposes a well-written case that includes all elements on which to base an analysis. So the task of analysis is to understand, not to make judgments regarding the rightness or wrongness of anyone's actions. The analysis is a description of the factors that make people think and act the way they do, and the analysis must be done critically, yet with imagination. So after you analyze, then you start interpreting. So interpretation is the vertical dimension. It involves interpreting the case in light of theology. So the key question is, what do the Bible, theology, and the church's tradition and doctrine say about the case? Of prime importance in the interpretation is the theology of the case. What is biblically and theologically right or wrong about the issue? So remember, we're not social scientists per se. We use social sciences, but we are still theologians. We are still ministers of the word, and we have to have the theological biblical base. Now, the interpretation must be based on scripture and informed by the study of the Christian faith and tradition. The writings of theologians, the church's teaching, and the church's practice must be taken into account. In addition, the insight of pastoral counselors, the research of psychologists or sociologists of religion, and the comments of students of relationships between church and culture should be explored as sources of materials contributing to the interpretation. Then lastly is the action, what needs to be done. The fourth activity is that of action planning. Here, one evaluates any action already taken and outlines appropriate future pastoral. So these are like your recommendation, future pastoral strategies to respond to the case. The strategy should include not only what one proposes to do, but also the rationale for choosing that strategy. The strategy plan must be realistic, contextual, and appropriate to the local situation. Furthermore, it must be correct in the light of principles derived from the research of the interpretation section. So the key questions to ask: which action is appropriate and creative in the light of scriptures, Christian faith and tradition, and the local situation? Why is this course of action the best? So these questions must be answered with great pastoral creativity based on theologically sound principles. Now, unfortunately for APTS, we still do not have a Doctor of Ministry student who did a case study. Although Dr. Barbara informed me that one of our current students, Zoa Munetsi, you know him? He is doing a case study. So that would be the first case study, because I checked the library and I asked, Dr. Barb, has any of our DMIN students ever done a case study? And she said, unfortunately, no. Okay, and so, but we have one. So that's why I could not show you an example that came from our library. What I can show you as an example done by an Adventist. So his DMIN, his Doctor of Ministry case, is entitled Toward an Integrated Youth Ministry, a case study of the application of principles from Ephesians among teens and their families of the Collegedale Church of Seventh-day Adventists. Okay, so an abstract of this research is available in your Moodle. So you can read the abstract. So he did a case study of teens and their families at Collegedale Church of Seventh-day Adventists. Okay. Right. So and if you want to read more about case studies, these are the books. Of course, Robert K. Yin is the czar of case studies. You'll have to read his book. All right. So I just highlighted top 3. So we have program development, descriptive research, and case study. Others are evaluation research. You can read Carol Weiss' evaluation research, methods for assessing program effectiveness. Participatory action research. A good research example would be Dr. Joel Tejedo. So he was also a DMIN student here. He wrote a participatory research, a paper, and he published it in AJPS. And again, the sample is available in your Moodle. So he did a good participatory action research. Okay, that's it. Wow. We're still at 3:34. Do you have any questions about the types of DMIN research? Okay, I stopped sharing screen. Okay, so do you have any questions? Are you now, are you now sure about your topic, your project? Do you know what you're gonna do somehow? Has it illuminated you a bit? No question? So who among you here do you think will do a program development? Okay, Miss Diana is going to do a program development. I like that.
Okay. But I think for mine, I don't see any, from that program development. But I think it was more on the second one that you shared.
Yeah. Yes, actually, yours would be descriptive because it's historical study.
Yeah. It's just I know, to be honest, like for me, I'm just trying to get at my from the first research course that I took, and then trying and from because it's it's like everything you're starting from scratch now, like from what I. Yeah, that is my honest. Yeah.
Okay. Any more? Do you have any questions? Have you decided on your topics?
I think for me, yeah, go ahead, Elijah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so my question is like is the case study good at for the joining some of the a kind of the camp or ministry? Only for that? For example, my interesting is a kind of the preaching. So that's why. So preaching is not like a youth camp or something events in the church. So that's why if I want to use a case study for the preaching, how should I do for that or something? I have no idea about that. So,
probably you can like choose three cases, like if there are, I'm not sure in Japan, who do you think are very effective preachers?
I have
Someone you can really
some-
observe, you know, and do a case study. How does he prepare his preaching? How, you know, how does he connect to people? How does he communicate, etc. Also, don't forget to study the context, you know, the context that you are in. Yeah. So that could be possible, although one person might not be enough. You'll have to do at least three to do what we call a cross-evaluation. And then from those three, you can get, you know, the principles that could help you formulate what do you want to formulate, like a good, like what are good
how
preaching
to reach to the
strategies.
unbelievers.
Okay, good. So it has to be evangelistic type of preaching. What are good examples? You know, what can you get from these three cases? So again, when you use case study, has to be unique. They have to be special. These cases that you choose, they're not just, you know, well, I'm not saying people are common, of course not, but there has to be something different about them.
Okay.
So, for example, in medical case studies, we always choose the most deviant. But in our case, of course, not the deviant, but there's something about them that makes them really effective at what they're doing. And so you use them as case studies.
Okay, thank you. It's so helpful.
Okay, anyone else? How about program development? Of course, descriptive research. Most of you actually, I think, will be doing descriptive research. Although for Pastor Abis, I think it's evaluation research. Dr. Conserman did that. She did an assessment, but of students, not of the program or the courses, you know.
Quite challenging. So it will bring a lot of experiences also in the area, because I'm also a practitioner when it comes to teaching. However, there's a lot of things that I need to learn. I need to go back to how to design a curriculum. So that's a course. So to those of you who have been away from formal studies, well, congratulations, because I'm one of them. I've been away from this kind of sitting down and being taught by my colleague, but he's also my teacher here at the Bible school. So literally, I'm at the mercy of our professor.
No.
It's like a number of you. So don't be terrified, but be passionate about it. Yeah. Ma'am Laura, may I just share some ideas? Way back in 2006, I enrolled at the DMIN program. However, the same year, my wife passed away. So I thought I can still do it. I went through the process, completed the whole two years program as far as comprehensive exam. By the way, do we still have comprehensive exam? Okay. I think we were the first group who did that. So I thought I can still make it. However, I lost the passion, because when I enrolled at the APTS at the time, my wife encouraged me to do it. However, right after my first module, she passed away. So I thought I can still do it until I lost interest. So my encouragement to you is this: no matter what happens, hang on. My problem at the time is that I did not connect with anybody, even with my classmates. So that was my mistake, big mistakes when it comes to education, especially in this doctoral program. So my encouragement to you is that get connected, especially with our professor, so that you can push through the program. I was given how many years? I thought I cannot make it, but I was encouraged also by our coordinator to complete the program. I said, I don't want to do it because by November I'll be 70. So how many more years will I contribute to the academia of the Assemblies of God? Very little, so small. But you are younger, much younger than me. You can do a lot. You can do a lot. Okay? So, to Posipo, don't give up. You are not alone. So,
Wow. You got this from Father Abraham. Thank you, Pastor Abe. Yeah, Pastor Abe is a returning student. He just needed to write a dissertation, but he couldn't do it because of personal circumstance. So we encourage him, you have to come back. You have to finish. Just finish the dissertation. And fortunately, he did come back. Praise God. Yeah. Okay. If you have no more questions about the types of DMIN research and you feel like you just need time to digest everything and decide on the track, that you're gonna take. I know it can be overwhelming, but it's okay. You can do it. The Holy Spirit is with you. The Lord is with you. It is the Holy Spirit who puts the topics in our hearts anyway, and you just need to find the correct approach. It's actually, research is very easy in a sense that once you have a topic, just find the right approach, the right investigative method, and just follow through that, and yeah, you'll get it. It's just really meticulous, but you can do it. Okay, if you have no more questions, it means that we will end the class. Wow. And you can do your annotated bibliography for those who have not yet submitted. I have already received those who have submitted. Good job. And then tomorrow, are you okay with an 8 a.m. class? I just want to ask the time difference to make sure. I think AM is better for you guys. Philippine time morning is better, right, than afternoon. So this is my plan. We will all have our lectures in the morning, and then you are free to do your learning tasks in the afternoon. Is that okay?
That's all right.
Is that okay? Okay, good. Because I don't want to overwhelm you, and too much lecture will not do any good. It's more of practice, practice, practice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So so tomorrow, which time do you prefer? 8 a.m., 8:30, 9 a.m. Philippine time?
Philippine time.
8 is good.
8 is fine.
So for Joshua, what time would that be for you?
That'll be 12 p.m.
PM the previous day.
That'll be 12, sorry, midnight. 12 midnight. Yeah.
Oh no, are you gonna be okay with that?
Nah, that's fine. It's better than
You're a night person.
Yeah.
And beside, he's alone.
Okay, so 8 a.m. is
Yes,
okay with
ma'am.
all of you. Okay, so
Yeah,
tomorrow
thank
8
you.
a.m. our technical support team already emailed you the link for tomorrow's class.
Can I ask a question about the annotated biography? It has to be, the article has to be EBSCO only?
Nope. If you can find another article from somewhere, it's okay. So we just provided you with EBSCO in case you don't have any source. Yeah.
Okay, for the annotated bibliography.
Yes. That's what I was asking.
Okay.
All right. So 8 a.m. tomorrow. So every day, 8 a.m. until Friday. And then, but we won't have class in the afternoon. You're free to do your learning tasks. Okay, we'll try. We might not be able to cover everything. That's okay. You can do self-studies. And then if you have any questions, feel free to email me or message me. See you tomorrow. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.